Hey guys, it's your boy Jay, and this is Football Talk. And in this one, I will be reacting to a new college football 25 update is here. So, we got some more college football news for you guys. Cannot wait to hop into this. Not really sure what the update is about, but cannot wait to see. Without further ado, though, let's jump right into it. Oh, also, this Saturday, college football, the not the video game version, the real life college football is back. And I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I will be live streaming throughout the day. So stay tuned for that. I will be live streaming on YouTube. Just stay tuned for that, man. I'm telling you, you're not gonna want to miss it. But let's jump right into this one. Alright, let's jump right into
We got
this.
another college football 25 update earlier this morning, and EA finally put out the details of what was in that update. We were kind of waiting around for a while. We didn't know exactly what it changed, but now we know. Now, today's update wasn't anything massive, but it did address quite a few key issues. Now, in
I
about
haven't seen
10 days
anybody
from what
really
we've heard, there's going to
report
be
on
the
this
next
update,
big
so
title update for the game.
guessing it's
Usually
not
about
that
once a
big.
month, you can expect a big update to come from the game. So we'll talk about some of the other stuff you can expect to come in that update as well. Now, if you are new here and you don't want to ever miss out on any of the info from these important updates, like the one that's coming in 10 days or the ones that's going to come every month for the rest of the year, make sure to subscribe and turn the bell icon on so you don't miss out on any of that info. I usually have it for you guys the second they put the info out so that you always know what's happening with the game. So like I said earlier this morning, we had an update. Nobody knew exactly what had happened because they did not put any notes out on it. Now, usually when it's not a
Oh, they
big
did?
title update, they don't put out a big blog on their website. They'll usually make a
Yeah,
post
that
on their forums,
yeah,
and that's what they did
that's
today.
true.
If
It's
you have a
normally
big
like
title
back
update,
end
the
stuff
notes will always drop
that you would
before
never
the
like
update comes out
really
for the most part.
recognize.
But when it's a smaller update like this, usually they don't put the notes out right away because this wasn't a planned update, I don't think. This was more of a hot fix to address some of the stuff that broke in the game after they updated it the last time. So on their forums, what they had to say was, hey there, college football community. Today you received an update on all platforms for college football 25. The team wanted to provide you with some notes about the changes that came with this update. And it says here they fixed an issue where the scoreboards would disappear during a game. Definitely saw that happen when you would show your player. Sometimes even in Super Sim, I think this happened. So it looks like they got that addressed. It also says they fixed an issue for offline dynasty files where freshman players were not shown in the
Like
player
they
list
showing the
during this
offline
game. So
dynasty
they
some
finally
love.
got that addressed as well. I think some of this stuff was addressed for the online dynasties, but as they said, they needed to put out an update for it to fix the offline dynasties because when you're online and they hot fix something, it gets automatically updated. So that's just
That
something they
is
need to
one
address to
benefit to
keep the
being
offline
online though. I
dynasties
would say that.
consistent because if something does break, they can fix it quickly.
But I've always been more of an offline player. So I'm happy to see that they're giving a hot fix update for the freshman players not showing up. That's good to know.
They also fixed an issue where the game would freeze when performing an onside kick in both online and offline dynasty mode. I actually had not heard about that one. I hadn't seen anybody post about that one personally, not here or anywhere
That's
else.
weird.
But if that was the issue, it sounds like they did get it fixed. And they also fixed an issue where changing your scheme or playbooks would affect your player's archetype and overall based on the choice in
Wait,
offline
what?
dynasty files. So that was like one of the bigger things that happened with the last update. And it kind of messed up some people's dynasty modes when they accidentally went in and changed this.
Oh
Again, this
damn.
was already fixed for the
I
online
have not
dynasties,
heard
but now it's also
anything
fixed for
about this,
offline as
about
well. Now
any
we're
of
going to
these
talk about some of the
fixes.
stuff you can expect in the next update, which like I said is about 10 days away from what we've heard. But really quickly, I
And
want
this
to
the
mention
big
this is
update,
also
ain't it?
sponsored by Underdog Fantasy. If you like sports and you like winning
Shout out
money,
to
then you've got to be
Underdog
on Underdog
Fantasy.
Fantasy soon in the next title update for college football 25, which like I said should be about 10 days away, August 29th. And the reason we know this is because somebody who works for Virginia, they tweeted about a week ago that they chatted with EA and they assured them that
Oh,
their
I think I
students will be
remember
staying on the
hearing
tier
him
would be
talk about
added in
this.
title update 3. And he said title update 3 is scheduled 45 days after the original launch of college football 25, which would be August 29th. So that's one thing we know that's being added, is they're going to be adding more to stadiums and environments and things like
I
that. We
still
don't
can't
know if
believe
it's
college
just going to
football
be
is here.
for Virginia, but it's probably going to be for a lot of stadiums because we saw in the previous update that just dropped that they did fix a number of stadiums in them. I think it was like 8 or 9 of them. You know, they redid Kansas's stadium and put the updated one in the
I
game.
didn't even
They
know
fixed an error
Kansas
with the
had to
Kansas
update.
State
I didn't
stadium
even know they
update,
had
and there was a
updated
number of other ones there that
stadiums.
they had to address certain things that were just slightly inaccurate. And when you've got 134 teams, everything
Did
is
the
not
was the
probably going to
Baylor
be
winning that
100%
one as
perfect.
well?
They're going to have to go in
Could
and
be
tweak
wrong.
it. They're going to have to up the environments. They're going to to have to add the little bells and whistles to things like fans standing in certain sections, maybe, or standing on the hill in this case. So we know stuff like that is coming in this update and probably in future updates as well. Now, the only thing I will say is while he said 8/29, I don't think that is a confirmed or official date, but it pretty much adds up with how they do updates with Madden. Usually you get one big one every month. So if for whatever reason it's not August 29th, it would probably be the week following that. So like I said, we're about 2 weeks away, worst case, from this next update. And aside from what we just talked about, we're also going to be getting some gameplay updates as well. The first few updates of any game from EA is always going to have gameplay tweaks in them. They're going to, fix some things that are glitchy, things that people found that were broken, which is what they did in the last update. They patched the spins and the jukes a little bit. They made the pursuit a little bit better and things like that. So they're always going to be tweaking and adjusting stuff like that. I believe one of the things they're going to be looking to address is probably zone defense as well. And this is also kind of an issue with Madden this year. The zones just don't really play tight enough. They kind of just let players run by them a little too much and they don't react quick enough. So I would expect them to be addressing that because that's something they tweak almost every single year in Madden. And I don't see why it would be any different here. Because once again, I will remind you, most of the gameplay devs are the
With the college football with the zones, I do see them tweaking it. But to be honest with you, defense is not really a thing in college football. Like when I mean not really a thing, it's not like you can be a dominant defense, right? If your offense, if you ain't got no offense, just look at Iowa. Prime example. Look at Iowa. They're always one of the top defenses in the past couple of years. They've been one of the best defenses. And look on the other side of the ball. Now they got tight ends now. And they got a pretty solid running game last year, from what I remember. But it's that quarterback, man. So like the zones and stuff being like broken. I did hear a couple of people complaining about that, but when it comes to college though, defense is not really a strong suit when it comes to college, in my opinion, over the past several years
same
at
for both
least.
teams. Yes, college football has their own dynasty devs and road to glory, and they have their own leaders and stuff like that, their own decision makers, sure. But in terms of gameplay, they share a lot of the same gameplay people, and that's why you have
Because
a
it's
lot of
made on the
gameplay
same
similarities
engine.
with both games, even though there also are some major differences like the game speed and the movement. But when you're talking about things like zones and plays and stuff like that, you're dealing with a lot of the same people. So the way that they attack Madden and they tweak things throughout the year, I would expect them to do that same thing with college football. Now, another thing we know about are new uniforms. This is something they said they're going to update pretty much every
Yes,
single update
my
for the most part. They
goodness, it
said
is
by year
so many
three, we're going to have
uniforms in
way more
college football. It's
uniforms
not
than we
even
even have now.
funny,
And right now, we have a pretty good amount. I mean, most teams have at least 5 or 6 for the
which is
most part.
just
Some
crazy.
teams have over 10, some teams have over 15, but they're going to be adding more and more
Over
to every update. But one
15.
thing I did want to throw
That's
out
the
there that I found
Tigers
out recently that I think is
thing.
interesting, and I know most of you probably don't know this, and I
Cheap
didn't know
ass
this myself. They
cardboard.
can only put uniforms in the game that teams sign off on. So some teams are like, yeah, put whatever. We don't care. Use whatever uniforms we have. Don't matter how old they are, how new they are, whatever. Use them. But other teams will not let them use certain uniforms if they're not going to be using them this year, for example, which
Which
is a little uptight, but some teams are just
I
uptight
mean, but
about
it
things like that. So just
it
keep that in
kind of
mind because
makes
there are
sense
some
though in a
uniforms that they
way.
just might not be able to put in the game because the team just doesn't want them in the game because they're not wearing them
I
anymore or
understand
they're
it from
not
both
playing them
sides
during the
though.
season and they want their team to be accurately represented in the game, whereas other schools are like, I don't care if we haven't worn this in 10 years, you could put it in the game, it's a video game. So they're kind of at the mercy of that a little bit, but even with that said, they're going to keep adding more and more with each update, and we should have more coming from what I've heard with this next update. Of course, they're still going to be updating things with Dynasty and Road to Glory as well. We know there still are some issues in those modes. They did attack a lot of them in the last update. They also just addressed some more of them today, but the modes still aren't perfect. They still have some other issues that they are looking into fixing, so we should see some of those coming in this update as well. Which specific ones are going to be addressed, or if all of them are going to be addressed, that I don't know, but I know some of them definitely will be. And there could be some potential tweaking going on with things like recruiting, for example. We saw them tune recruiting in the last update, but those are things that might need to be fine-tuned all year long because people are going to find new strategies and they're maybe going to want to stay ahead of the
They're
meta
always
on
going.
that and make
People are
new
always
rules
going
and
to find a
systems,
new
and
meta.
recruiting stays challenging throughout the year. So that's something else I would expect them to constantly do, not even just in this update coming up, but the ones that follow. Now, if you want to see all of the new plays, uniforms, and stadium changes that were
Okay, so this was more so of a minor update. The big update should be coming within what next week or week or two, at the most. Yeah, but to be honest with you, I did not see any of the stuff that they fixed. Like, I did not know that those was like problems like the scoreboard thing, the freshman thing, like a couple more. Maybe I've just been, living under a rock. To be honest, I haven't really been like checking too much on people playing college football. Except for like maybe like what, like one or two YouTube channels. So I just haven't seen it, but I'm glad that they got out a little hot fix. It wasn't planned. You can definitely tell it was not planned. But I'm glad that they was able to, come out with a fix, especially for the offline mode. But that's gonna do it for me, guys. Hopefully, you guys enjoy this reaction. Love you guys. I'll see you guys in the next one.